beaten, tortured, and killed just for their faith.
We're watching and witnessing an onslaught here. We're doing nothing. That has to stop.
Jay Sekulow reveals the rise of Christian persecution and genocide, a reality we can't ignore, on today's 700 Club Interactive. Well, welcome to the show. 2016 was the worst year yet for Christian persecution. That's according to Open Doors International. Their report says in the 25 years they've been monitoring persecution, the problem has reached unprecedented levels. Take a look. Well, Jay Sekulow of the American Center for Law and Justice joins us now to talk about this situation. And Jay, just tell us, how bad is it for Christians in the Middle East?
It's awful. I mean, the situation right now, Gordon, is grim. The fact is that Christians, and even some of the other religious minorities, Yazidis, but Christians in particular, cannot even be protected in what are called safe zones. So when they talk about establishing in Syria and Iraq these safe zones where the refugees are coming in, inside those refugee camps, even the ones run by the United Nations, the Christian community cannot succeed in there. They cannot survive in there because the hatred is so deep and the hostility is so deep. So a safe zone for Christians doesn't really exist in region right now because of the nature of the persecution. I think if you look at what the Islamic State, ISIS, has done with how they emphasize the torture and dismemberment of Christians and the crucifixion of Christians. I mean, we're talking about things that we haven't seen in 2,000 years at this kind of proportionate level. So the reality is, and I hate saying this, but it's a grim situation. We were at the United Nations just the other day through our European Center for Law and Justice on this very issue of genocide. So that getting a genocide designation for Christians in the Middle East is a big issue, and we've got to get it done. Once you get that, there are certain guarantees and treaties that come into play, but until you get it complete, you don't have that protection. So it's a very grim situation. It's a very dangerous situation, and unfortunately, it's one I don't see improving drastically right now, absent intervention from the Lord.
Well, you were leading the charge to get the United States, and when Secretary Kerry finally declared ISIS guilty of genocide back in March of 2016, it doesn't look like anything changed. If anything, it seemed to get worse. Why?
Yeah. Well, we actually filed a lawsuit on that because once we finally got the administration to acknowledge the genocide, they didn't want to say that because it cut against their own narrative of how they wanted to view the Middle East. The previous administration, wanted to view the Middle East the way they wanted it to be, not the way it is. And so we finally did, because of congressional pressure and a lot of people engaging on this issue, we got the administration to acknowledge the genocide, but then nothing. You're absolutely right, Gordon. Nothing happened. I mean, maybe less. So we filed a lawsuit against the State Department to find out what the heck happened. I mean, what happened here? Why was there no engagement? That's in litigation right now. Subsequent to that, what we've decided to do is, with the current administration, obviously, we're pressuring and in the right way, getting information to them so that this issue is now on the State Department's radar screen. You've got a whole new team coming in at the higher level, the political level. And then we've decided to go directly to the United Nations to get the designation there. So we're working it in tandem. You can't just go down one road here. You've got to have it all working at the same time, or else you're not going to succeed. And literally, lives are hanging in the balance here. This is an awful situation. Very, very dangerous.
Well, to compound it, it took a federal judge to point out that in terms of refugees coming out of Syria, there was a disproportionate, it seemed, discrimination against Christians. That it's roughly 10% of the population of Syria, but in terms of the refugee population, less than 0.5%. And it seems Syria was targeted. You don't find the same discrimination on refugees coming out of Iraq. Do you know why that is, and what the current administration is trying to do to turn that around?
Well, the current administration, the executive order that was challenged, actually had a provision in there to protect religious minorities, which, of course, obviously would have included Christians coming out of Syria in particular. In Iraq, it would have exempted out of that order. Here's the problem. And this is the ongoing problem. You have right now a system in place that is fundamentally flawed. It's fundamentally flawed because not only are you not seeing a proportionate number of Christian refugees come forward, but you're also, and this is just, I hate to say it, but it's fact. The fact is that the whole apparatus in some of these regions within Syria and to some extent Iraq, but in Syria, are being controlled by ISIS. So they're controlling the passports. They're controlling the visas. They're controlling the documents, the papers upon which individuals would be able to transit. And if you look at who's coming into the United States or who's going into other countries, it's been primarily, overwhelmingly 18 to 35-year-old males that are not married. That's not a good sign of what's going on here. That's not the Christian community, and it's not even primarily the Sunni or Shia community. This is a disproportionate amount of young people, single males, in that migration pattern. I've studied that at Oxford University. You look at those migration patterns, it does not bode well. It certainly hasn't for Europe. It would not bode well here. But Christians are disproportionately not even able to get, Gordon, into the system in the first place. So at the front end, they're not able to get into the system. And that's what's got me so concerned. They can't even get in the system to be designated because when they go to the Syrian, whoever's controlling the refugee status, or even within the UN, they say they're Christians, they are immediately not only marginalized, their life's in jeopardy.
Why isn't that story getting out? And it seems to me in the whole battle over the executive order, that's not coming forward at all, that we're seeing this huge number of 18 to 34-year-olds, this absolute discrimination against Christians coming out of these areas. And it seems to be turned on its head where somehow the executive order is being viewed as somehow discriminating against Muslims. Why is the narrative not being corrected?
Because unfortunately, when the case proceeded, the Justice Department did not put forward a case, not only as far as legal arguments go, but when they were asked, and you saw this in the Ninth Circuit when they had that oral argument, which was a painful thing to watch, they did not know their own evidence. And I think that's changing, by the way. I think if there's another round of this, and we'll see if there is in the days ahead, the Department of Justice is now prepared. We are bringing this up, Gordon, in our filings with the court as an amicus, and we may be representing the chairmen of the Judiciary Committee in the House and the Senate in these proceedings. We're working on that right now. We're going to bring up what's actually happening, what's on the ground. And again, as I said, Christians can't even get in the front end of the system because of the discrimination at the gate. That is what people don't understand. The discrimination and the life's in jeopardy is at the gate of entry. And now I'm not talking about gate of entry to the United States. I'm talking of gate of entry to the refugee process itself. That's where the danger is for Christians, and that makes it an untenable situation.
Well, let's change focus. It's not just the Middle East that is having discrimination. You're working to help free a Christian pastor that was recently sentenced to jail in Sudan. What was his crime?
They always charge it's violations of national security. I mean, that's the hallmark of all of this. It's always a national security crime. But as it always is, it's propagating the faith, the Christian faith, which they view as a danger to the national security interests of the various governments. Here it's the Sudanese. We've had success in the past, as you know, Gordon. We've gotten several people out of that situation, even through the court system or through a process where we've able to organize their release through political pressure. But we've actually won some of these in court. In this particular case, one of the pastors has been let go. The other has not been. And that's the danger case, and that's one we're working on. We've got a great team of lawyers on the ground in Sudan that we have trained. And they are working this case very, very aggressively through now the appellate system for the one remaining pastor. But look, Sudan is a problem. It's not just Sudan, as you know. It's in other regions of the world as well. But in Sudan, we have had success in the past, and we're praying for and working hard for success on this one. We've had success on the one case in the last 10 days. We're working hard on the other.
Well, if 2016 was the worst year ever, do you have a forecast for 2017? Is it going to get better, or are we going to see more of the same?
You know, if you look at the region, it just go through Northern Africa and the Middle East right now. It doesn't paint, I don't want to paint a pretty picture here. I think it's very difficult. What we have to do and what we're working on both through administrative sources here in the United States domestically, but also internationally, is if we're going to establish safe zones, we really need safe zones for Christians in region as well. You can't you can't get, not that many people can be taken in by all these other countries, so you're going to have to figure out how to do this. The Kurds have been supportive of Christians in the past, so we've got to be recognizing that. Gordon, I am praying for a breakthrough, but working as if we've got to do our legal work to get it done. So our international team is committed to make sure, to the best that we can, that 2017 is not a repeat of 2016 and that we see marginal progress. Now, marginal progress means it's case by case in some situations. You know, each one of these, you mentioned the pastors in Sudan. We got one out, now you work on the other one. So in these various countries where we're working, some of these cases are literally one at a time, and that's how you break through. So we're looking at multiple sources on how to do that, both in litigation and through the UN and various international agencies, and we're working with a coalition partner. But on the legal side, we're leading the charge, and this is, I will tell you, Gordon, so that you all know and the audience here knows, this is a big priority for us. This is, I come from a family of Russian immigrants to the United States and Holocaust survivors on my mother's and father's side. So I know genocide. I know this kind of pain in my own family. I don't want to see it repeated now.
Well, Jay, you and the ACLJ are certainly out there on the front lines. How can our viewers support you in this effort?
Well, the first thing is, and I mean this very sincerely, pray. When you're dealing with these governments and you're dealing with law that is not based on a U.S. system of justice, you got to be as wise as a serpent and as harmless as a dove. You got to really know where you're going and who you're dealing with and how you're working through the system. So pray for wisdom for our team. That's the biggest thing. And then where we've had also some good success has been these petition drives we've launched on various individual cases, and that information's at aclj.org, or our Be Heard Project. Be Heard Project is a project dedicated just to this. All Be Heard does is deal with the persecution issue, and that is at beheardproject.com, and people can get information there as well.
All right, Jay, you've given us a lot to think about, and a lot to pray about, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Gord. Thanks for covering this.
All right. Well, up next, he's a Fox News commentator who says that deplorables are going to make America great again. Todd Starnes joins us live, so stay with us. Fox Radio host Todd Starnes is fighting a war for conservative values. And to all who feel they've been mocked by Hollywood, dismissed by academics, and marginalized by the media, he says it's time to rise up and join the fight. Take a look.
It was the public comment that, more than any other, may have marked the beginning of the end of Hillary Clinton's race for the White House.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
It backfired, big time. Those who identified as being part of that basket of Trump-supporting deplorables wore the label as a badge of honor, and 2 months later elected Donald J. Trump the 45th President of the United States. Fox radio commentator Todd Starnes says despite the election results, now is not the time for those deplorables, folks Todd calls red-blooded American patriots, to rest. In his new book, The Deplorable's Guide to Making America Great Again, he says it's time for freedom-loving Americans to dig in and get to work.
Well, Todd Starnes joins us now, and it's great to have you on this show.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Yeah, and thanks for your book, The Deplorable's Guide to Making America Great Again. I do think we need a guide because it's almost like we haven't been engaged in the struggle. And we don't know what's at risk. One of the points for me last year that really got my attention is when the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights issued a report. And in the report, it targets Christianity and says you can't hide behind your religion. You can't be a Christian and act on Orthodox Christian principles. And it was interesting to me, it targeted Christianity. It said nothing about Islam. It said nothing about other religions that hold to a moral standard. And it's like it went through and there was no reaction at all to it.
None whatsoever. And the reason why is because most liberals and most of the people in Hollywood and the mainstream media believe Martin Castro from the U.S. Civil Rights Commission, who wrote that document. And when you go back and look at what Hillary Clinton was really talking about, she was talking about average, church-going, God-fearing, patriotic Americans, much like when President Obama back in 2007 told a gathering of liberals in San Francisco about the people who cling to their guns and cling to their religion. And I write in the book that I'm proud to call myself a gun-toting, Bible-clinging, deplorable American. But Gordon, I think that the bigger issue with Hillary Clinton was the word that she used, irredeemable. She was saying that she called them irredeemable deplorables, as if those who cling to the traditional values, cling to the belief in traditional marriage, for example, are beyond redemption. And I think that was a very troubling thing for a lot of Americans. And quite frankly, I believe that was the deciding factor for many people before Election Day.
I do too. And I think people finally said enough.
Yeah.
But I look at the narrowness of the election and I go, well, there's going to be another one in 4 years, and there's going to be another one in 4 years after that. And are we really understanding that our religious freedom is at stake? Your book talks about some examples where churches could be at risk for losing charitable status just for holding to the biblical view of marriage.
That's correct. And this is so important for people to understand. Churches, many churches across the country, Gordon, have disengaged from the culture war. They don't want to offend people. They don't want the attacks that come with taking a stand that is uncomfortable in the public marketplace. And as a result of that, we've really abdicated our position in the culture. And that's why so many liberals not only want to silence Christians in the marketplace, now they want to dictate the terms of our religious beliefs, which is what the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights was attempting to do with that document.
But isn't there more to that? Isn't it also a function of the Johnson Amendment?
Look, for a lot of evangelicals, that's one of the reasons they supported Donald Trump, is he promised to do away with the Johnson Amendment. And yeah, exactly. Look, same here too.
Yeah, if you do that, yeah.
Okay, we're good. Put a conservative on the court. Okay, I'm good. I'm there. I'm cautiously optimistic with President Trump. You know, he says he's going to protect religious liberty, and I want to take him at his word. And let's see what he does. But for me, the bigger issue, and you touched on this, the bigger issue in 2016 wasn't the Hillary-Trump fight. It was all the young people, the millennials, who voted for an avowed socialist. I think those numbers are going to go up. I think the Democrats have a big problem on their hand moving into the next election cycle, because I suspect they're going to be shifting and lurching even further to the left.
I would agree. And I see at some point, are we going to become so polarized that will it be impossible to govern? And how can we become one nation under God, indivisible, when you have two so opposed? And it's not just for political reasons. The rhetoric has gotten so inflammatory, and the demonization of belief, it really disturbs me.
When you abdicate that authority, that platform in the public arena, then perception becomes reality. And you've got people out there in Hollywood and the mainstream media that have been chipping away and pounding on evangelicals like us to the point that now we look like we're extremists. And I suspect it's going to keep getting worse. So what do we do? Well, that's one of the reasons I wrote the book. I think that we can fight the culture war. We can fight for this, fight for religious liberty, and we can be happy warriors. We don't have to get out there and beat people up and, as I write in the book, whack them upside the head with a cast iron skillet. We don't have to do that. We don't have to burn down cities. We can take a stand in the public marketplace, and we have to take a stand in the public marketplace.
All right, what are some very practical steps that people can take?
Gordon, I think one of the most important things, and we talk about, well, where can we wage the culture war? We got to take back the White House. Well, that's great, but you know what? It's too late by then. We have to start in our local communities, and we have to get involved. Run for the school board. Franklin Graham said that he wants Christians running for every school board in America. I think it's a brilliant idea. And the reason why is this. Our public schools are being used as the engine to facilitate this cultural change. The kids are being indoctrinated. It's very simple. Not only are they being taught that religion is bad, they're being taught that our way of government is bad. Our founding fathers are terrorists. That's what Common Core is teaching these kids. So moms and dads have to get involved. They got to start paying attention to those lessons. Read the textbooks. And if you see something suspicious, don't just say something to the local school board. Give me a call. I write about these stories every day at Fox News, and I'm happy to do stories and expose this stuff that's going on in our public school system.
What can we do to also solve the problems? I think that, restoration of, we believe in God and it's acceptable. You have freedom of conscience in the United States. I'm really concerned that we're not even trying in that battle. But you look at some of the other issues and you look at our inner cities and the huge problems we have. What can Christians do there?
Well, Christians do have to engage on those very basic foundational things. One of the great stories coming out of Memphis, Tennessee, which is where I'm from, Bellevue Baptist Church, one of the great churches in America. They've partnered with inner city schools, not to proselytize, but just to help raise the reading levels and help kids with mathematics. So churches are partnering with groups in the inner city, and that's what it's about. It's not about politics. It's about genuinely helping people, genuinely investing your time in the life of another person, and that's what we're called to do as believers in Jesus Christ.
I love that. There's a church here locally, Park Place Methodist, that is doing the same thing and getting involved in reading programs, nutrition programs. How can the church be known as a place of refuge, a place where you can find help? And the more I think we do that, the better off we're going to be.
Amen.
Yeah.
And another thing is raising up generations of young men and young women. Unfortunately we've lost the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, but there are organizations like Trail Life USA and American Heritage Girls that are helping raise up that next generation of godly young men and women who are also patriots.
All right. Well, the book is called The Deplorables Guide to Making America Great Again. It's available wherever books are sold. And if you're concerned about the future of this nation, please get a copy of it. Please say, okay, I'm gonna find my guide to making America great again. And remember, it always starts with your community, your neighborhood, your school board. What is your church doing to reach out to your community? Start there. That's where it begins. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks a lot, Gordon.
All right. Well, coming up, a married couple struggles with the stress of life in the military.
Every military spouse spends a lot of time thinking about what's going to happen if they get that knock at the door.
When you get home, there's a lot of stressors.
Watch how this military family gets a helping hand on the home front. Well, as a soldier, Ken is looking forward to hanging up his boots. He bravely served in our military at a time when we needed him the most. But with bills piling up, his transition to civilian life hasn't been easy. So we gave him and his family a heartwarming gift from helping the home front.
Kent has served in the U.S. Army for 14 years, including 3 combat deployments. His wife Sarah knows what he has sacrificed to serve our country.
I'm so proud of him because it's let me see a side of him I don't think I would have seen. He is the hardest working person I've ever met.
And it just makes me feel that God has put me with the right person.
Those deployments weighed heavily on the whole family.
I think every military spouse spends a lot of time thinking about what's going to happen if they get that knock at the door.
When you get home, there's a lot of stressors. It takes a while to get used to being a civilian again and realizing that you are not in a combat zone anymore.
Kent will soon retire from the Army. While they look forward to more time together, they've also been hit with many large financial setbacks. A major one is their van, which would cost more to repair than it's worth.
We don't go very far because I know that one of these days it is going to go and we're going to be on the side of the road with the kids in the hot Kentucky sun. So just praying it holds together.
Very concerned, very concerned. Something that I stress about.
The family goes to Emmanuel Bible Church, which contacted Helping the Homefront. Pastor Dan Swartz told the family what we were about to do.
The friends at CBN have wanted to come alongside you and assist you.
Helping the Homefront gave Ken and Sarah $10,000 to pay off their old van and help purchase a reliable, newer one. The Wyatt Johnson Auto Group arranged the trade-in and gave them a deep discount. In addition,
they want to take you and the children to Sears, and they have $1,000 that they want to use to assist you to get some new clothing for the children.
That day we took them shopping. The kids loved picking out new clothes.
I am also humbled and grateful for what you guys have done for us, for my family, very grateful. The shocker.
This is something we've prayed about for months. This has set us on a course where we're going to be okay.
You can be a part of it. You can be a part of everything we're doing around the world, and every day you can be a part of doing a whole world of good. How? By joining the 700 Club. How much is it? It's just $20 a month, and that breaks down to just 65 cents a day. And you're joining with tens of thousands of people that say, yes, I want to make a difference in the world. I want to help people. Our military families, we need to recognize that they're serving too. When you have a spouse, when you have a parent who's facing multiple deployments in this continuing war on terror, we want to recognize they're serving too, and we want to help them in their time of need. So you're a part of that when you join with us. If you're not a member, call us now, 1-800-700-7000. And if you're already a member and you want to make a designated gift to Helping the Homefront, where your gift will go to help our military families, all you have to do is call us and say, I want to give to Helping the Homefront, or you can go to the website, 700clubinteractive.com. We leave you with this word from Colossians, and whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. God bless you. We'll see you again.